I shoved the janitor in front of me aside because he accidentally stepped on the leather shoes I had just bought. What was this grime-covered janitor doing in the bank's VIP lane? When it was his turn, the bank manager froze. The number on the screen didn't look right. $8.12 million. Not an inheritance, not lottery winnings, not a lump sum deposit. The account history was almost boringly clean. Fixed monthly transfers, fixed investments, uninterrupted for decades, no flashy spending, no signs of upgrading his lifestyle, not even a new car. The manager instinctively sat up straighter and asked in disbelief, "What do you do for a living?" The janitor thought for a moment and said, "I clean up the things other people ignore." I stood there stunned, like a clown frozen mid-act. That wasn't humility, that was literally what he had done his entire life. After work, he never talked about income. No watch flexing, no car upgrades, no telling anyone I'm doing pretty well now. He did just one thing that looked completely insignificant. From every raise he made a small portion disappear. The part that could have gone toward upgrading his life. Until one day the numbers spoke for themselves. I didn't finish my own business. I turned around and left the bank. Looking at the $720,000 balance in my own account, I asked myself, I make $300,000 a year. After 10 years, why do I only have this? This situation isn't rare. Maybe your nanny is worth several times more than you. Because the real question has never been how much did you make, it's always been about how much did you keep. This is the lie many people rely on when building their financial lives. As long as you look successful, you are successful. As long as people can see it, it must be real. But real wealth doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need comments, likes, or envy to prove it exists. In fact, the more financially mature someone is, the less motivation they have to turn money into content. That's why people who are genuinely financially solid often look ordinary. If you're still measuring by visible status, you ask them how things are going, and you usually get doing fine, can't complain. No income breakdowns, no dramatic pauses to spark curiosity, no asking people to guess how much this costs. They're not shy. What's interesting is that this quiet isn't emptiness. It is actually just a form of control. Bills are handled, responsibilities are met. They don't need to post screenshots of investment accounts just to prove to the world that they are adults. That's also why so many people misjudge who's actually wealthy. They've been trained to notice signals designed to be noticed. Things like loud cars and luxury logos. Now look one layer deeper, the buffer. Trips aren't scheduled back to back. Errands aren't crammed into punishing 30-minute gaps. Most people call that inefficiency, but it's not. It is actually a shock absorber. A delayed flight, a sick kid, a client pushing a deadline. The whole week doesn't blow up. Quietly wealthy people understand that chaos gets expensive fast. Then things get even more mechanical. They ruthlessly reduce decision fatigue, fewer apps, fewer open loops, fewer maybes floating in the background. If it's not a clear yes, it's a no for now. That sounds psychological, but it has direct financial consequences. Every recurring low-level decision drains attention, and attention, unlike money, can't be refilled with a single transfer. Once it's gone for the day, the quality of everything else drops. Then comes the part so boring it's almost disrespected: automated money systems. Ask a quietly wealthy person when they last manually paid a predictable bill, and they might genuinely not remember. Bills, autopay, savings, insurance, subscriptions, monthly investments, money being split before it ever hits checking. Everything runs on rails because every manual financial task creates friction, and friction is where leaks form, like late fees. The structure is brutally simple. Paycheck hits, fixed costs first, rent, utilities, insurance. Retirement accounts get funded, emergency buffers get topped off. Only then is what's left allowed to be spent guilt-free. Order matters. Then comes the cleanest math problem in the whole logic chain. An extra 1% a year sounds laughably small. Most people wouldn't even feel it missing from their paycheck. But over 20 years at a 7% real return, that tiny annual increase turns $500 a month into nearly $300,000, nearly $300,000 from a change small enough to ignore. That's the point. Read that again in real life, not in a spreadsheet. One setup, one automatic transfer, maybe $100, maybe any number that doesn't hurt. Then every January, raise it by 1%. No discussion, no renegotiation with yourself. Here's the hard truth. The calmest-looking people usually sit on the strongest systems. And strong systems almost always beat strong willpower. That's why the next layer isn't about how much money a label shows. It's about what's quietly draining you over time. Here's the most brutal part. Most people don't lose the money battle at the checkout counter. They lose it weeks and months later, when the things they save start charging rent, That's what separates people who look busy making money from those who quietly keep it. The same pattern shows up with time even more clearly. Many people are taught that doing everything yourself equals discipline. Sometimes it does, sometimes it's just low-value exhaustion dressed up as virtue. If your most energetic hours are spent cleaning, mowing lawns, running errands, doing basic bookkeeping and endless small tasks, your best attention is being sold off in fragments. You're using premium human bandwidth on things with no multiplier effect. Quietly wealthy people see this instantly. They outsource not to look important, but to stop leaking life into tasks that money can buy back. So one simple calculation can change everything. If a service costs less than your effective hourly rate, the question is no longer, can I do this myself? Of course you can. The real question is, should my time be used here? If you earn around $60,000 a year, your hourly rate is roughly $30. Paying $40 for 2 hours of cleaning isn't always a luxury. Often it's a trade, spending less than your time is worth, just to buy 2 hours back. And when something repeats, the hidden cost compounds. Repetition without systems is how capable people get slowly harvested. So when people say hard work doesn't pay off, what they often mean is this: their labor never turned into assets, freedom, or leverage. It got consumed by obligations that auto-renewed themselves. That's the real filter, not who grinds harder, but who controls money, time, and future choices, rather than handing them over quietly bit by bit. Once you see this, you stop asking what looks affordable today, and start asking what will keep charging you tomorrow. That's where the shift happens. That's where the trap loosens. Here's a practical move most people skip, because it looks too small to matter. When your income goes up, keep driving the same car, and automatically divert the money that would have gone to a higher payment. That's it, not a 5-year plan, not a motivational speech, just one boring reroute. The raise hits, your lifestyle tries to grab it. But before your brain can argue for leather seats, bigger rims, or telling yourself that you deserve an upgrade, the money has already left checking, and gone somewhere you can't casually spend it. The point isn't abstract discipline, it's removing the decision before emotion gets a vote. So give yourself a maintenance ritual, not a budget fantasy. Once a week, 10 minutes, same chair, same screen, 3 checks. First, review all recurring charges, and cancel one you wouldn't actively sign up for today. Second, review the past 7 days of non-essential spending and ask one question: if I had to pay full price again right now, would I still buy this? Third, move the saved money immediately, even if it's small. $20 counts, $40 counts. The goal isn't to look smart, it's to interrupt the pattern where convenience drains you until a whole year is gone. Stick with it long enough, and what once felt like random spending reveals a system you can finally control. This is what people miss when they fantasize about getting rich fast. The real win isn't a bigger number on a screen. It's that a bad month can no longer decide your life. A client leaving, a layoff, an unexpected bill. They annoy you, but they don't destroy you. That's the first thing quiet wealth buys. Not applause, not dramatic reveals, but breathing room. Ironically, freedom looks extremely ordinary. It looks like a checking account that doesn't cause panic, like rent, food, insurance, and car payments still being covered. Even if one income stream disappears. Like opening your banking app without your stomach dropping. Like sleeping through the night. Because your entire future isn't hanging on one paycheck and your boss's mood. That's the promise here, not yachts, not retire at 30. But a life with shock absorbers. And those shock absorbers are built the same way traps are built, through repeated choices. Plug one leak, leave one automatic investment alone, start one small boring extra income stream. Maybe it's $200 a month into dividend stocks, maybe it's 5 hours a week freelancing, maybe it's something you started before it looked impressive. If all this sounds less exciting than get-rich-quick stories, good. Excitement is expensive, stability compounds. If you do it right, the reward isn't a cinematic finish line. It's the right to step back, the right to say no, the right to recover, the right to keep going. Have you had a similar experience? Share your story in the comments.